So if you like me, I mean, everyone is on Twitter these days, right? So if you are on Twitter, you have already heard the news. I'm pretty late to it. Uh, Elon bought Twitter on April 25th. Okay, so let's dive into it. So Elon bought 9% of the Twitter stake at April 4th. That's what he went when he said it on the Twitter usual thing. But it was kind of kind of weird. Elon buying Twitter for various reasons because Twitter, I mean, as everyone knows, his area of interest is space and electric cars and all the environmental things. So he bought 9% of Twitter stake at in April 4th. April 4th. Then he was invited to the board, but he said no because when you're in the board, you can only buy 15% of the share of Twitter so that they can, stop various reasons, so that no supremacy, all of those things, not diving into it. But then he made an offer of 43 billion US dollars to Twitter. First, the investors, the board members of Twitter said, we don't want your offer, keep it with you. But then when he said that he's going to give it in cash, their mind changed. I think the share of each shareholder will get, the value of each share was 5.3 billion, 5.3 American dollars. So that is why it went to the first offer of 43, but then it was 44. Twitter's business wasn't great, so kind of accept, like, it gave a very good premium for the company. I think Twitter was valued at 38 billion, so 44 billion is a very good amount for buying out Twitter. So let's dive into what all he wants to do. First thing he wants to do in Twitter is to give free speech. Let's talk about that. That's actually very kind of un-Elon-y. Is that a word? I think it's a word. I just think it's a word. Wow, I'm an English teacher now. Okay, that's a cut. Okay, free speech. So he wants to give most free speech to the Twitter audience. Let's take an example of Trump. You know what Trump did, right? I don't want to dive into it. And he was banned from Twitter. I supported what Twitter did. But he doesn't want to do that. What he wants to do is give more freedom for the people. He doesn't ban members from Twitter. All he wants to do is give like a timeout what is happening in Discord. Best example, Discord, because when you do something bad, you have 3 warnings and moderator, and 3 would get a timeout, and that depends upon the people who is running the Discord server. So he wants to do something like that. It's kind of rumored that before the deal happening that Elon was called by Trump to do, and Trump was coming back to Twitter after the deal, but he said no. And very recently there's a big tweet. Here's a big tweet of Elon explaining about it. See some tweet. I will link some Twitter links in the description also. One as open source. He wants to make Twitter's algorithm open source. It's kind of weird because Twitter is in a platform which makes money through advertisement. The moment you put something in open source, that allows the people to develop a core app of Twitter and make it free, because they can just delete the code where it provides advertisement and keep it there. But also, it also creates an opportunity for spammers, to spam Twitter, because that allows the spammers to know how can you get to the popular tweet, how can you get what's happening around the world, so it can get spammed, because they know how the system works. If you give an open source algorithm, they know how it works, so they can give it more spammers, and you know why spammers isn't good. Best example is YouTube comment section. Okay. The thing he wants to do is not to give the entire algorithm, but give part of it, so that he kind of a privacy between the users and the and the developer users and the organizers, so that they can know how it works, and kind of a privacy thing. I guess it was make it open source algorithm. It's kind of weird, yeah, but I get it why he wants to do it. But he also said that he wants to. It's kind of rumor floating around that he wants to give a small charges to government organizations and corporate office to run Twitter. He wants to kind of less focus on advertisement rates and more focus on like of the small fees and Twitter Plus. If you have heard about that, it's a thing rumored around. Not getting much deep into it. It's in a topic for another day. and bots. Everyone hates spammers, right? As we said, spammers are very annoying because they just spam stuff and uh, take uneducated and unaware people to commit fraud. No one likes that, right? Even like has a person who's interested in tech kind of hate spammers. Everyone hates spammers. Spammers are not very good. They're kind of a part. Everyone hates them. So Elon wants to eradicate spammers from Twitter for various measures. Taking like when Elon told he want to authenticate all humans, I was like, huh, that's weird. I thought it was the blue tick, but then it was got clarified by someone in Twitter timeline that it is not blue tick. What he's going to do is, what I think he's going to do is going to give a small tick mark near the name of the Twitter ID of this thing, and that's very Twitter ID of the person. It's very kind of useful because then we understand the person on the other side is not a bot, is a human. There's some other things also he said on Twitter. For example, he wants to make Twitter's chat end-to-end encrypted like Signal. Yeah, kind of it's very useful because Twitter is also a place where people chat. Twitter has a messaging platform. I understand why he does that. The whole thing, the Twitter deal is kind of weird for me. First, I thought it was like a publicity stunt. What he did, he's a very good guy. He is a very marketing genius. His best example is one of his company Tesla. They spent $0 in advertisement, but still they always have this advertisement. They always try to get a headline in the news. It's very amazing to know. So that is publicity stunt, and he's very passionate about Twitter. I mean, if you follow him on Twitter, you can know he's passionate about Twitter. So I thought he's passionate about Twitter, publicity stunts, and also if you buy 9% of the stake, we can influence him to say some things to be changed. So why I think he bought Twitter is reason is there's many rumors, things I've said that he wants to publicity stunt, is blah 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 blah, all of those things. This another one thing is that he's a guy who shares very weird memes and all of those things, and his platform Twitter is a platform where he's trying to communicate his viewers, and he doesn't want to be kicked out from there. I don't think that's a reason. I think why Elon bought Twitter is because he's just simply passionate about Twitter. That's what I think. But Elon is also a very good businessman. He knows how to manipulate people's minds. So now I don't think it's the correct time to comment why Elon bought Twitter. We should take a little more 3 or 5, 6 months or 12 months, some in 1 year or 2 years, and we can slowly understand why he bought Twitter. What I really think right now is, I don't know if he want to make us think in like that way. He bought Twitter because he's passionate about Twitter. That's it for today. Until the next video. See you guys. Bye.